Now, reason number two. So my experience, the way I started, I think I was doing lashes for over, I want to say about 2 years, less than 2 years, and my schedule was fully booked. That's when you know you're ready to teach. You're going to teach yourself when you first started. Everything that you're going to teach is based on your experience, not perfection. When do I know I'm ready to become a lash trainer and start teaching others? I'm going to give you a few reasons that helped me to become a lash trainer and where did I start it.
You're listening to the Time Lash Artist podcast. If you want to jumpstart your lash career, you can also watch Cosmina's free lash training at www.fulltimelashartist.com. Let's grow.
Hi, my name is Cosmina. I'm a certified lash artist and also I'm a lash trainer. Guys, I want to share with you my personal story, how I started and what did I do in order to become a lash trainer. Reason number one, you're ready and you know you're ready when you're comfortable with classic application. You know all the techniques behind the classic, you know the knowledge behind the application. You know all the new techniques, you know the Russian volume, you know the American volume itself. So when those applications are on point, then you know, okay, this is the time that I think I'm able to teach other people. Now, you may be afraid at first and you may think like, oh my God, but who's going to come to my class? Who's going to take my class? And one thing that in my head, it makes me kind of like to be afraid of starting. So many lash artists that they were doing an amazing lashes and they've been working like lash artists for years. Even my lash artist, she was in the lash industry for over 8 years in that time, but she never, she was never teaching or anything like that. And in my mind, I was like, why is she not teaching? She's doing an amazing job. But people are afraid of, being in front of people. People are afraid of sharing information. But if you never start, you never know. You never know how to handle the class. You never know what type of questions the students have and things like that. But number one is when you're ready, when your application is on point. You know the knowledge behind the glue, you know the knowledge behind the chemistry of the glue, you know the retention, why the retention is bad, why the natural lashes are not, you're losing the natural lashes, where is the shedding time, why the natural lashes are shedding, and things like that, And another thing, you can be an amazing lash artist, and I know there are so many lash artists that they're amazing and they're not teaching yet. But think about something when you first started, how hard it was for you to understand, what type of knowledge you had in that time, what type of skills you had in that time. And based on that, you're going to put everything together and start teaching. Now, reason number two. So my experience, the way I started, I think I was doing lashes for over, I want to say about 2 years, less than 2 years, and my schedule was fully booked. That's when you know you're ready to teach, when your schedule is fully booked, you passed so many problems, clientele experience, you had so many things that you already saw. And based on that, I was like, okay, I think those are the things that I want to teach my students, because I remember when I started, nobody really taught me that. And you keep putting those notes on the side and then you're like, oh, I think I'm way better than my teacher on my first class when I started, So I realized that a lot of people started to ask me, a lot of lash artists started to ask me, Cosmina, this is a beautiful set. Cosmina, what did you do here? What style you create? What is the mapping for this? And then in that time, I remember I used to have a few lash clients that they were lash artists and they weren't trainers in that time. And they started to ask me, what type of style is this? Oh my God, this is a wispy. I remember when wispy came like a couple years ago, I started to create those type of styles and people were like asking me all the time, what is the mapping for this? How did you do this? So that kind of put a question in my head, and I was like, oh, if people already ask me those type of things, that means I'm an amazing lash artist, so I think I'm ready to start. Yeah, that was probably when 5 years ago, but I was doing lashes full time for over 2 years, so I had so much knowledge behind. I knew about retention, I knew about cleaning, sterilization, maintaining, and things like that. Like, I was familiar with everything. And number three, you're going to teach yourself when you first started. Everything that you're going to teach is based on your experience, not perfection. Because obviously, when you first started teaching, you don't know how the class goes. You don't know what type of questions the students have. But remember when you first started, how many questions you probably had in that time. I remember my first class, I was so confused. It was a brand very known here, and I took the class. It was only 2 days, classic application. I started with classic, and we were about 15 girls in the class. I was all over the place. I couldn't understand what is the difference between C curl, D curl, what is M. I couldn't understand how to position myself, how to hold the tweezers. I was like, oh my god, this is not for me. I hated it at first. I didn't like it, not even 1%. But why I didn't like it? Now, because I'm in this business for over 7 years, I understand exactly where was the problem. I think the problem was the first class. The first class is extremely important when you first start. You have to have all the knowledge that you're able to give a set to your client. So for example, nobody taught me how to hold the tweezers. And I think in those days, this is extremely important because I know I had so many problems with my wrist because I was squeezing the tweezers very hard and I kind of put too much pressure on my fingers. And then I had no support on my hands and everything hurt. Like in that time, I couldn't feel my lower back. I couldn't feel my neck. Everything was hurting. Like you feel like you go to like a construction job. But that's all because you don't start in the correct way. So now going back and ask yourself again, I am ready to start teaching. You're absolute ready. You're 100% ready because you remember when you first started. Did you know all those things? 100% not. So now you are ready to share this with your students. And everything, like I said, everything that I share with my students, it was based on my personal experience. And when I put my curriculum together, when I put my trainings together, I said, I want to give everything that I didn't have when I started, like how to hold correctly the tweezers, how to work with different brands. Why do I have to know so many curls when you only work with like 2 or 3? You know, I started to put the dots together and I started to understand that basic is probably easier for a beginner to understand. So don't try to share a ton of information because at the beginning, a student is going to be so confused. And then that's how 70% of the students, they don't pursue after because they feel that everything is so hard. Like even to hold the tweezers is hard. But if you manage to split the trainings and make the trainings easy and, you know, like very basic for the student to understand, of course they're going to be comfortable after the class and they're going to start doing something after the class, because at the end of the class you want to see your student, you know, successful. You want to see your student that they are going to practice after, they are going to put the work together. But make sure that your trainings are explained well and explained correctly from the beginning.
If you got a passion for lashes, let me see it. It's time to level up. If you need me to, I'll teach you my 6-figure secret. Better believe it, cause I believe in you. You're listening to the Full-Time Lash Artist Podcast. If you want to jumpstart your lash career, you can also watch Cosmi's free lash training at www.fulltimelashartist.com. Let's grow.